Well now, 40 years ago, I had my first and only Christmas in my boarding school in Aberdeen. Only once, and no more after that. That was the Camper Rudolph Steiner schools in Aberdeen then. Or should I say Scotland. And I used to live in Myrtle House, Myrtle Estate then. And this is what happened. On the first day of December, that was Advent Sunday, and as soon as it was time to get up, all the staff used to sing a Christmas or Advent song every Sunday during Advent. And after the song, as soon as they finished the song, they used to open our doors in our rooms. They used to call them dormitories. And later on, before breakfast, we used to go to the sitting room and have the Advent calendar. It was in the middle, close to the ceiling, and we used to open it, and we all had a turn. This young boy named Martin, it was his turn first, as he was a little boy then. He was the youngest, and his father helped him up there. Later on, after breakfast, we went to service. It was either children's service, youth service, or senior service. I used to go children's one as I was under 14 then. In the afternoon, we all went to the hall for the Advent thing. It was on the garden thing, not really a garden. We had lighted the candle. While the candle was in the middle, there was a big candle in the middle. We all had a turn each. They even sang Christmas and Advent songs. But first, one of the staff went to tell us a story about it. And later on, after that, we all went back to our houses for our supper, and I think they gave us a candle as some of us had a turn. This is for more or less over on the 13s or something like that. On the 2nd of December, that was on a Monday, we still went to school. On Monday evening, before we went to bed, we all went to the sitting room for the Christmas story. On Tuesday the 3rd, we had the Madonna slides. Not the singer Madonna, but something to do with religion. On the 4th of December, that was on a Wednesday, we had the Christmas story once again. On the 5th of December, we had the Madonna slides once again. On the 6th of December, that was St. Nicholas Day. Now, if you were good, he'll give you sweets, but if you were naughty, he'll give you coal. So we put our shoes out for the night, that Thursday, and first we had to polish our shoes to do so. So we left our shoes outside our rooms. Some of us used to call them dormitories. And I was lucky to get sweets and chocolates. Well, in the afternoon, we went to different houses to see St. Nicholas. We went to St. Turning's, and but first we sang some songs, and then he read my report, how I did or what I didn't do well. And while we had our supper at St Turning's, while in the evening in Myrtle House we had the Christmas story once again. So this woman continued telling the story to us. Well, on Saturday the 7th, some of us went to a Christmas party. We went by minibuses, and when we got there, it was in the city of Aberdeen, and it was in the hall somewhere. I wouldn't know the name of it now, to be honest with you. And when we got there, first we introduced ourselves, what our names were, and played a few games. Did pass the parcel, and we even did this game, what we did in the gym, what we normally do. But he wasn't our gym teacher yet. Then later on we had fish and chips for our supper. But before we went back to our houses and our estates on the minibuses, Father Christmas came. All said Merry Christmas to us. Even I said the same to him. On the 8th of December, that was the second week of Advent. Not only I went to service that day, in the afternoon we saw a play, but it was only very small. Then we went back to our houses for our supper. On the 9th of December, we had the Christmas story once again. On the 10th of December, we had I had to go into the hall for this Christmas celebration thing, and they chose me. So nobody was in the hall that evening. On the 11th of December, I had to do it again, I had to continue. On the 12th of December, we went to have the Madonna slides before we went to bed. On Friday we had the children's story once again, Christmas story. And later on Tuesday the 17th, we had some sort of Christmas concert inside the hall. Some of us sang some Christmas songs. Well, my teacher Celia chose me and some of us. So we didn't have the Madonna slides that evening, for a change. On Wednesday the 18th, we had the school dress rehearsal after 11 o'clock, so it wasn't very big that day. Didn't have all the classes. And then on 19th, we had the Madonna slides once again in the evening. And then by Friday the 20th, we had school dress rehearsal sometime after breakfast, school festival I should say. We sang and it was different classes, and we was in the hall for something like less than 2 hours. We sang some Christmas songs though. Some classes did a poem, some classes did a play. And then by that Friday the 20th, we still had religion lesson in the afternoon. On Saturday the 21st, the shortest day of the year, we went to see a play in the afternoon. But first I went to town with my dormitory mother, somebody I used to share the same room with. We went to meet somebody part of Mill House, and the play we saw on Saturday afternoon, I think it was after 4:30, it was a nativity play if I remember rightly. On the 22nd December, not only I went to service on that 4th week of Advent, I also had to continue doing the Christmas celebration thing. First, and I had to have the candle. Not real candle at the moment, not candle at the moment, just to continue doing it. I was having difficulty though. I got through alright. And on the last day of December, sorry, not on the 22nd December, we had in the evening before I went to bed, we had the Madonna slides for the last time. And I had the last Christmas story on Wednesday the 20th, which was the thing. While on December the 23rd, that was on a Monday, I think I went to see a play in the hall if I remember rightly. While on Christmas Eve, I went out with my dormitory mother and somebody I used to share with named Kenneth. Went for a walk somewhere. And in the afternoon, I did the Christmas celebration in the hall. And this time, I had the candle really. This time, and afterwards that evening we all went back to our houses for to see have a sing song in the house, sing Silent Night. Excuse me. And then it was time for supper. It was special supper though, that Christmas Eve. And then we had our own candles, and I was under 14 then. And later on, before we went to sleep that night, Mary and Joseph came to sing to us. Not really Mary and Joseph. Did sing Silent Night to us. While some children already went home for Christmas, but I didn't that year. And the next day was Christmas Day, and somebody sang Christmas songs, or mostly the staff. I went to service that afternoon, so I went early. And then later on I went back to Melt House for Christmas dinner. First we sang, I saw three ships come sailing by. We did, and after our Christmas dinner, we sang some Christmas songs, and then afterwards it was rest hour. I was with somebody named Sebastian. We were singing some songs. We were in my dormitory. I invited him. Then later in the evening, we opened our presents. First we had a Christmas song, and then afterwards we then opened our presents. And some people from Canley House came over as well. But on Boxing Day, wasn't that too much? Just saw a play in the afternoon, and that was it. And then in the evening we just went to get the suitcases for tomorrow as we're going home. Then on Friday the 27th December, we were going home that day. But first, as soon as I was out of bed, it was snowing. Anyway, Edinburgh Transport went home first. They got the coach and then got the train from there. I think the coach got stuck in the snow, if I heard rightly. And then as I was too early for us to go back, for me, I did a bit of sledging in the field, and then my teacher Celia said that Clive invited me for lunch at St Turnings. They invited me, and then came back to Melt House to do the washing and drying up. In the afternoon, we did some packing, and then in the evening after supper, we eventually sang some Christmas songs one more time until it was time to go home. We were supposed to get the coach to Aberdeen railway station before 9, but he came before 8 instead because of the snow. And we're at the station something like 8:30, so the snow already stopped by then. And then 10 o'clock the train departed, and then I was sharing the room with Lee Woods. He got off at Peterborough, so he went home first. And the train arrived on time at 8:38. My mum and dad was there, and then my brother came, and I was so happy. And they took me home in the car. Well, it was home before 9:30, and as soon as we were home, I opened my presents, and I was so glad I got home. It was strange being at home at first, and then I went to Enfield Town with my dad that afternoon and stayed at home the rest of the day. Anyway, I think today, during Christmas, it's been a good year, could have been a funny year for yous, and I had a good break in the Isle of Man for a few days. We think about the homelessness and the people who are having a hard time going to have Christmas this year. It's not looking good for Prince Andrew, what he's done. Well, King Charles, he's having a bit of health issues lately, but hopefully his Christmas becomes good. think back when I was a little child, I was under 10 then. I used to have my aunt and uncles come in for Christmas and Boxing Day. And I think of the good presents I've had and the ones as soon as I became an adult. And according to this Christmas, you hope to have a good Christmas, whether you're feeling well or not. But you do feel down if you lost your loved ones, and so no doubt you have a blue Christmas, which is not nice for me to say, but sometimes this has to be said though. Anyway, I'd like to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But don't drink and drive though. Very important that. Thank you very much.